Good evening and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's begin with the top stories of the day. Polling ends in Rajasthan and Telangana. Election Commission announces 72.62% turnout in Rajasthan, 67% turnout in Telangana. Results to be announced on 11 December. Calcutta High Court pulls up West Bengal government for not responding to BJP requests seeking permission for its Rath Yatras. Division bench modifies order of the single bench, directs Chief Secretary, Home Secretary and DGP to meet BJP representatives by 12 December. New media will strengthen foundation of a new India, says Prime Minister Modi. Praises positive role of the media in turning Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Swachh Bharat missions into mass movements, says government is close to providing basic facilities to 100% population. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu underscores need to make quality healthcare affordable and bridge urban-rural divide with state-of-the-art healthcare services. Calls for aims in every state. And OPEC and allies agree on preliminary deal to cut oil production by 1.2 million barrels per day. Iran to be exempted from cutting production. Global oil prices rise to $63.32 a barrel. Let's begin with the states that voted today, Rajasthan and Telangana. Around 73% voter turnout was recorded in Rajasthan Assembly elections, where elections were held for 199 of the 200 Assembly seats. The BJP is aiming to script history in the state for a second consecutive term, while the Congress hopes to defeat the Vasundhara Rajya government.
After a high decibel election campaign, voting has ended in Rajasthan with a voter turnout of 72.62%.
The election takes place in a very fair manner. Though, as I told, there were still queues when we got the last turnout, and this turnout, what has been reported at 5 p.m. is likely to go up. The tentative figure is 72.62%, and since polling is going on, by late night it will be over and it is likely to go up.
Polling was held at 51,687 booths across the state for 199 of the 200 assembly seats. Polling was largely peaceful. There are 2,274 candidates in the fray in Rajasthan, where the BJP is seeking to retain power for a second consecutive term, while the Congress is hopeful of unseating the Vasundhara Rajya government. In the outgoing assembly, the BJP has 160 seats, while the Congress has 25.
मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि क्योंकि अच्छा विकास का कार्य हुआ है, उसको देखते हुए राजस्थान की जनता अपने विवेक से उस पार्टी को मजबूत करेंगे जिस पार्टी ने ये काम किया है।
भारी बहुमत से चुनाव कांग्रेस जीते, ये मेरे मन में था और भारी बहुमत से कांग्रेस चुनाव जीतने जा रही है।
Results for 199 seats will be declared on December 11th. The election to the Ramgarh constituency of Alwar district was put off following the death of Bahujan Samaj Party candidate Lakshman Singh.
After the successful completion of the peaceful voting, now the election process has entered into the last phase, and that is the counting. All the candidates, the political parties and the electorates are waiting eagerly for the day when they will be able to know that who will represent and voice their concern in the Vidhan Sabha for next 5 years. In Jhalawar, with camera person D.K. Pandey, Ravin Singh Shoran for Rajya Sabha TV.
And around 67% voter turnout was recorded in Telangana. The Election Commission said voting was peaceful in the state, barring a few incidents. It is a three-way contest in the state between the TRS, the BJP and the Congress-led Praja Kutami.
Telangana voted to elect its second assembly on Friday. Over 2 crore 80 lakhs electors, including 4.6 lakh Divyang voters, exercised their franchise. Polling came to an end in 13 left-wing extremism-affected constituencies at 4 p.m, while in the remaining 106 segments the process continued till 5 p.m. There are 119 constituencies in the state.
What we need daily, this cleanliness on the road and removing the kachra. So these matters more, no? We are not going to look at, remember the politician while we are doing our housework and driving on the road and all. So
whoever comes into power, they should govern much better. They are doing good, they should do much more good, and they should think of more about senior citizens. Like the main concerns in what they have is about banking. They are much concerned about their savings, deposit, whatever it is. Nobody actually, there's a lot of what we say the news going on.
From home conditions of the roads, water supply, electricity, these are the things that matter to us on a day-to-day basis. So leaving aside national politics and state politics, urban issues are what I kept in my mind.
The Election Commission used VVPATs for the first time in the state. EC said the polling in the first assembly elections since the formation of the state passed off peacefully, barring minor incidents.
Respect the poll was completed today smoothly and peacefully. Till now, the figures which we have received for the turnout, we have received the interim figure of 67%.
Telangana and Andhra Pradesh Governor ESL Narasimhan, Caretaker Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao, BJP's Telangana President K. Lakshman, State Congress Chief Uttam Kumar Reddy and AIMIM Chief Asaduddin Owaisi were among the leaders who cast their vote. TRS Supremo K. Chandrasekhar Rao exuded confidence that his party would come back to power in Telangana with a huge majority. Owaisi said he was confident that his party would win every seat.
Second or third time in the state that the pro-incumbency government is again coming back with a huge majority without any doubt. You need not have any doubt.
They are very peacefully, they are coming to the polling station and exercising their oath. It indicates that the silent voting will decide the fate of the Telangana parties, particularly either TRS, BJP or Congress. So the silent voting will definitely helpful to the भारतीय जनता पार्टी.
मैं काफ़ी पुरुम्मीद हूँ और मुझे पूरा यकीन है कि इंशाअल्लाह ताला हर उस जगह से हमको कामयाबी मिलेगी.
Adding a dash of glamour to the poll process, Telugu film bigwigs turned up in good numbers to cast their ballot. About 1 lakh police personnel, including 20,000 drawn from other states and 25,000 central paramilitary forces, were engaged in poll duties. The Congress has stitched together Praja Kutami along with the TDP, the TJS and the CPI to take on the ruling TRS, which is seeking a second term in office. The TRS is going it alone in the polls, so is the BJP. As many as 1,821 candidates, including a transgender, are in the fray in the election. Counting of votes would be held on December 11th. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And our correspondents Panchan Mishra and Kriti Mishra are joining us from Jaipur and Hyderabad. Panchan, coming to you first. Take us through the voting pattern in Rajasthan, particularly in Jaipur, where you are stationed at the moment. Were there a number of first-time voters, women voters, and how was the excitement among them?
Yeah, Tina, there was enthusiasm since morning 8 a.m. When we were here in Jaipur. We have seen the very good number of voting here, and that's a difference has been made. It's around 73% voting since up to 5 p.m. Yes. And Election Commission has said that the voting percentage might increase in the final figures. But we have seen that there was enthusiasm among first-time voters. You can say it's a millennium voter because 20 lakhs, around 20 lakhs voters were there who voted for the first time. Yes. And we have seen the current here among women also, because in Rajasthan they have a very in last election we have seen that women came from houses in very good number to vote, and this time also there was enthusiasm among women, and they were very loud and clear that what the issues they want. So there was enthusiasm in women's, in youth, and also in the local voters of Rajasthan. And the issues were dominated since the beginning was majorly on development, unemployment, and the issues of farms. But also we cannot deny the issues which were very much figuring is like caste and religions also. So we have to see that what will be the final outcome of this election and on which line mostly Rajasthan has voted. But the election commission has made a really commendable job to bring the voters up to the polling booths, and we have seen we felt that difference VVPAT has made in this election, because when we inquired many of the voters how they felt with the VVPAT, they were quite satisfied, and they were said that there is no chance of any malfunctioning or any corrupt practices to EVM machines, because they can see their vote to whom they are voting.
Okay.
The VVPAT system is quite doing good, because it's the first time that Rajasthan has felt this VVPAT system. So it was a very good initiative, and apart from this, election commission has made also elaborate arrangement of security to get a sense of security among voters to cast their vote. So overall, it was a very good election, and multiple issues were there. So we have to see that apart from this state government, which BJP-led government, there was also you have to understand that this election happened in such a presumption that there is anti-incumbency against the government and Congress might get a benefit of it. So the central leadership led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Party President, BJP President Amit Shah, they gave a major thrust to this state. So we have to see that what differences they can make and how the Congress can, if there is a possibility, can come back. Tina.
That's true, Panchanan, and we'll have to wait till the 11th for the results. Coming to you, Kriti, Telangana also witnessed brisk polling around 67%. We believe the Election Commission made certain special arrangements this time around. So how were the voters, in fact, how was the sentiment among the voters in Hyderabad today?
Well, Tina, as far as the voter turnout is concerned, it was tad less than what we saw in the year 2014, which was around 67%, and in the year 2014, we saw it around 70%. As far as the polling process was concerned, it was more or less tranquil, except there were minor glitches in the EVMs. There was a bit of furor over the deletion of names in the electoral rolls, and also a minor skirmish between the leaders of the Congress and the TRS. As far as the day progressed, of course, we saw exuberance and excitement among the voters, and especially I would like to mention here the aged voters, the octogenarians. They came out in large numbers and exercised their franchise. Now, talking about the ramifications of this turnout, you might have seen that exit polls, whatever they're showing right now, they have already emboldened the TRS, and of course this number of 67% has further given it a boost. But as far as the other part, that is the Mahakutmi or the Praja Kutmi, that is the Congress-led alliance of Congress, TDP, TJS and the CPI, they're also not crumbling under the pressure, and they're hoping to trounce the TRS government on the basis of the arithmetic of the polls. As far as the BJP is concerned, it is also keeping its fingers crossed, because it is hoping that if the verdict throws out a hung assembly in the state, it may emerge as a kingmaker. So certainly all the political parties have now started working on the permutations and combinations, but we'll have to wait for the final verdict till the 11th of December. Over to you, Tina.
Certainly. Thank you so much, Kriti and Panchanan, for joining us from Jaipur and Hyderabad with those details. That's all in the election news. We'll move on to some other stories in a while. And in the other big story of the day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said media has a crucial role to play in strengthening the foundations of New India. Addressing the Jagran conclave in New Delhi, Prime Minister Modi expressed hope that India's effort to deny economic offenders safe havens abroad will, of course, show results.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi called new media a crucial vehicle in fulfilling the dream of a new India. Addressing the Jagran conclave organized to celebrate 75th anniversary of the Hindi daily Dainik Jagran, he said the digital revolution has expanded the scope of media. Modi said media has a positive role in turning government schemes like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao or the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan into mass movements.
साथियों, समाज में मीडिया का ये रोल आने वाले समय में और भी महत्वपूर्ण होने वाला है। आज डिजिटल क्रांति ने मीडिया को, अखबारों को और विस्तार दिया है और मेरा मानना है कि नया मीडिया नए भारत की नींव को और ताकत देगा। साथियों, नए भारत की जब भी हम बात करते हैं तो मिनिमम गवर्नमेंट, मैक्सिमम गवर्नेंस और सबका साथ सबका विकास, इसके मूल में, इसी मूल मंत्र को लेकर के हम बात करते हैं।
Prime Minister Modi said the nation has seen an unprecedented transformation in the last 4.5 years of governance. He stressed that the government is able to take tough decisions because it was voted with a large majority. Modi also asserted that education for children, employment for youth, healthcare for the elderly, irrigation for farmers and a redressal mechanism for every citizen are focus areas.
साथियों, जब हमारे देश के गरीब, शोषित और वंचितों को सारी मूलभूत सुविधाएं उपलब्ध हो जाएगी, उन्हें शौचालय, बिजली, बैंक अकाउंट, गैस कनेक्शन, शिक्षा, आरोग्य जैसी चीजों की चिंताओं से मुक्ति मिल जाएगी, तो फिर मेरे देश के गरीब खुद ही अपनी गरीबी को परास्त कर देंगे, ये मेरा विश्वास है।
Prime Minister Modi also expressed hope that India's efforts will ensure that economic offenders who flee the country don't get safe havens abroad. He said his government has made significant suggestions in this regard to the international community. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The Calcutta High Court on Friday came down heavily on the West Bengal government for not responding to letters of the BJP seeking permission for its Rath Yatras in the state. It directed top officials to take a decision on the processions by the 14th of this month. The division bench of the court directed the Bengal's Chief Secretary, Home Secretary and the DGP to hold a meeting with 3 representatives of the BJP to discuss plans to conduct 3 legs of Rath Yatra. The single bench of the court had on Thursday denied permission for the BJP's Rath Yatra in Coach Bihar, which was scheduled to be flagged off by party president Amit Shah on Friday, after the state government refused to allow the event on grounds that it might cause communal tension.
We will see what the administration is saying and we will revise our Jatra program accordingly. But the point is, what our respected All India President said, that Jatra program, Ganatantra Bachao Jatra program, will be carried out throughout West Bengal to revive and restore democracy in the state.
And the government has appointed Dr. Krishnamurthy Subramanian as the new Chief Economic Advisor for a period of 3 years. His name has been cleared by the Appointments Committee of the Cabinet. Krishnamurthy Subramanian is currently working as an associate professor at the Indian School of Business, Hyderabad. An IIT-IIM alumnus, Subramanian holds PhD Financial Economics from Booth School of Business, University of Chicago, the United States. He is one of the leading experts in banking, corporate governance and economic policy. Time for a short break on News Tonight, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Do stay with us.
राजस्थान का महासंग्राम, पायलट और गहलोत क्या लगा पाएंगे वसुंधरा के किले में सेंध? देखिए चुनावी रण 2018 फैसला 11 दिसंबर सुबह 7 बजे से लगातार सिर्फ राज्यसभा टीवी पर।
Welcome back. You're watching News Tonight. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has stressed on the need to bridge the urban-rural divide when it comes to healthcare facilities. He said this while addressing the 46th convocation of the All Indian Institute of Medical Sciences in New Delhi. The Vice President also stressed the need for making quality healthcare affordable for people. He said the curriculum in medical education needs to be constantly upgraded in tune with the latest advancements. The Vice President also said there is need to establish an institution like AIIMS in every state. He said there should be one medical college in each district. He also appreciated the Ayushman Bharat initiative of the government, saying it will go a long way taking care of the health needs of poor people.
The curriculum in medical education needs to be constantly upgraded in tune with the latest advancements. I am sure that the curriculum developed at AIIMS can be adopted by other AIIMS-like institutions and other medical colleges. I am happy that the government is trying to coordinate everything and make this the central aim so that they can coordinate and also monitor and also guide and the other institution also.
The Supreme Court on Friday dismissed a PIL against Finance Minister Arun Jaitley. The Supreme Court imposed a fine of 50,000 rupees on petitioner Advocate M.L. Sharma. The top court imposed the cost as the advocate continued with the argument after the dismissal of the PIL. The bench, comprising Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi and Justice S.K. Kaul, also expressed displeasure that the advocate made the finance minister the main party in the PI. Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan on Friday addressed the 51st convocation of the Indian Institute of Mass Communication in New Delhi. Mahajan observed that communication is the most effective in one's own language. She also said that media must use regional languages other than Hindi and English for effective communication. The Lok Sabha Speaker awarded medals and certificates to the top performing students of the institute. Other than English, Hindi, Marathi and Malayalam, students also graduated in the Sanskrit journalism course from the institute for the first time. The Lok Sabha Speaker also inaugurated the Atal Bihari Vajpayee Marg in the campus and a news portal developed in Sanskrit by an IIMC student.
अगर हमें बात पहुंचानी है पूरे हिंदुस्तान की, तो केवल अंग्रेजी या केवल हिंदी में लिख करके नहीं चलेगा। मैं हिंदुस्तान की बात कह रही हूँ, मैं भारत की बात की, भारत क्या है ये बात अगर पहुंचाना हो तो कहीं ना कहीं वो क्षेत्रीय भाषा में अगर समर्थता से बात लिखी जाए तो वो ज़्यादा यहाँ तक पहुँचती है। अपनी भाषा में बात करो तो वो जल्दी कैच होती है।
A carnival for the comic book fans has begun in the national capital. The 8th edition of Delhi Comic Con, the biggest extravaganza for the pop culture fanatics, kicked off on Friday, bringing together the worlds of comic books, movies, television and gaming. The event opened with an interactive session by Vladimir Furdik, who plays the Night King in the popular American TV series Game of Thrones. The event also saw the launch of a book titled Rhyme Fighters by Indian comic creator Abhijit Kini. Comic-Con India is a unique event, celebrated the illustrious medium, which brings together the whole comics industry and related fields, along with fans of this culture from all age groups. The mission has now evolved to create unique pop culture events and engage with fans all across the country.
So this is our 8th year in Delhi. It's the biggest show we've done so far. Every year the highlights are always the comic book artists, the cosplayers, also the energy that comes with the crowd. Something that's new this year is a lot of the fan experience zones. So you go in, there's a Hot Wheels zone, there is an Amazon Prime zone, there is a Aquaman zone, there's a Marvel zone. These are zones where fans can go in and have some experiences and engagement.
Oil prices rose on Friday after OPEC and allies agreed on a preliminary deal to cut oil production. According to Iranian Energy Minister Bijan Janganeh, OPEC producers have agreed to cut output by 1.2 million barrels a day beginning January. OPEC is holding talks with other oil-producing nations, including Russia, at its headquarters in Vienna. However, OPEC has agreed to exempt Iran from cutting production. Global oil prices rise to $63.32 a barrel following the reports of oil cut. And German Chancellor Angela Merkel gave an emotional farewell speech to her ruling Christian Democrats as she stepped down as the party leader. Her preferred choice, Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer, is a runoff with millionaire lawyer Friedrich Merz. Despite quitting as CDU leader, Merkel plans to remain German Chancellor until her term ends in 2021. A third candidate, Health Minister Jens Spahn, received only 157 of the 999 votes cast in CDU's party conference in Hamburg. Merkel's speech was punctuated by applause, and she got a standing ovation of more than 6 minutes at the end. And that's it from us in this news bulletin. Thanks for your time.